guys, welcome back. So I got a little different video here this time. We're going to do some hand loading for the 300 Remington Ultra Mag. So up here in Canada, I'm having a heck of a time finding different powders and different bullets for my gun for reloading. So I'm basically out of options. So I'm going to have to recreate a whole new load now for the 178 grain AMAX. I bought these like 6 or 7 years ago. I have 200 rounds of them, so they've just been sitting there because my gun really likes the 180 grain Nosler AccuBonds, and I've had no issues with that, and I've been shooting them for a lot of years. But unfortunately, I cannot find any anymore in the 180s. There's lots of 150s around. I can't find no 200s or no nothing. And then my choice of powder for them bullets was the Reloader 25, which I only have about this much left in here. And as far as the 180 AccuBonds go, I think I maybe have 15 or 16 bullets left, so I could load them up fine and it'd get me through. But unfortunately on my rifle, my scope is I'd say she's pooched. So the other year I shot at that big buck and I missed him, and I still don't know how, and it still gives me nightmares to this day. So I went and shot my gun, and I think it was like 16 inches low at 100 yards. So fast forward again, shoot my gun, it's not shooting correctly, go over and punch some paper at 100, and it's 16 or 18 inches high at 100. Then the next time it's 15, 16 inches low at 100. So my lefts and rights are still good. It's just the up and down. It won't hold at zero. I don't know if the gun gets bounced around and the scope jiggles itself or does something, because I've never had the recoil do any of that. It's just where I'm packing it over my shoulder or whatever. I even took the tear it on top, your dial that you can turn, and I even wrapped it in electrical tape so it could not be moved, and shot it, and then next thing you know, shot it probably 4 or 5 times. It was good, and then shot it a couple more times, and she was like 16 inches low. So the scope is toast. So I got another scope for it, but I don't have enough ammo in these 180 AccuBonds to sight the scope in and have any ammunition left over for hunting season. So brings us to tonight. So we will set up here, and I do have a digital scale, and but for some reason it's not working correctly tonight. It powers on and everything, but you can't push no buttons on it or anything. It's all like it's froze up, which really pisses me off because it's probably 5 years old, and I probably paid like $400 and some for it. So, or maybe I paid more, I don't remember. But pretty crappy to only get that many years out of it, and it's toast. So we got our other hand scale here. And I got my RCBS, my rock chucker press, and then I got a Wolf Industry press over here, and I use that one just for putting primers in. But yeah, she's pretty basic setup here. We are going to be loading with H1000 and our 178 grain AMAX, and we're going to use our Federal large Magnum rifle primers, the 215s. So I got a bunch of brass here. We'll run them through the sizing die, and I'm probably going to have to trim some, so I'll do a little trimming and then we'll carry on from there. Let's get started. So pretty basic here. You got a lube pad. You can use this lube or a spray. And I like to just give it just a little spray on there. And then you got your brass, and you just kind of give her a little roll on there. Not too much, or it'll create dimples from too much lube. There's one brass, deprimed, resized. He's ready for cleaning. So yeah, I usually just throw a handful out and just give him a quick rub. And if you get too much lube, you'll notice up here on the neck and the shoulder that it creates little dimples because there's too much lube. So too much is bad, and not enough is even worse, because then your case will get stuck up in there. Yeah, these 300 Ultra Mag, they're pretty stiff. Takes quite a bit of force to run them through. Well, I'll carry on here and get these ones here all resized, and we'll carry on here in a minute. Well, I got these ones here all deprimed and resized. They are pretty dirty. Unfortunately, I don't have my tumbler out here, so there is another option you can do too. You can use water, dish soap, and lemon juice. Mix them three, put your brass in, and yeah. It'll clean them up pretty good. And it's got all that case lube and everything on there too, so any grime and dirt. Yeah. Let them sit in there for a while, keep shaking them. And I got some others that I just washed, and then highly recommend, like, if you do it like this, once they're clean, give them a good rinse, make sure they're good and clean, and then you can bake them in the oven at a low temp to make sure they're absolutely dried out before you do anything with them. Or in my case, I got the wood stove behind me. I just set them up on there and put a little cookie sheet there and throw them on and just let them roast for 5 minutes and until they're good and hot, then they're good and dry. So, well, let's carry on the next step here. And there's a bunch here that only took me about 15-20 minutes to clean them up, and they're pretty good. I'm pretty happy with them ones. A couple other steps here. This guy here is for cleaning your primer pocket. And then here's a deburring tool for your flash hole. I always like to give them a little bit of that. And then here's a deburring tool. But before we get too carried on with that, we should probably measure some of these brass and trim them down a bit if they need it. So I'll grab the calipers here quick. So I just got a cheap pair of digital calipers. So 2.850 is your length, and they should be trimmed to 2.840. So these ones are at, that one's at 2.85. So it's just a little long. .846, 2.860, 2.846, 2.8395, 2.8350. So for the most part, they're right in specs there. There was the odd one here that was a little longer, but yeah, it wouldn't hurt anyways to throw them on the trimmer for a quick second anyways. Oh. So he's pretty good. Here's one here that you can see it's got a big dimple here. That was from too much lube. We'll put him over in the reject pile. Some of these brass are new, some are old. Well, some are once fired. Some might be multiple times fired too. So like he's a little bit long. Well, let's grab the trimmer. So here's your basic case trimmer. These have set screws in them here, so you can adjust what you need, right? So this one's already been set up for years, so. It holds the case. It barely took anything off of there, so. So that one took a bit off for sure. Let's go back to our calipers. .8395. So, and to trim the case down to 2.840. So we're pretty close right there. So that one took a little off too. 2.8470. $2.8445. $2.8400. So there could be a little bits of stuff on the end of the brass or something too. But I'll carry on here with trimming these out. Just keep giving them a shake every now and then. Yeah, now at this point here, your brass is all clean, it's resized, it's deprimed, it's trimmed. Now we would use the primer pocket deburrer, and then our flash hole deburring tool. A couple spins is good, and then here's a reamer. The inside and the outside. Well, it's not really a reamer, it's more of a deburring tool. So if there's burrs and stuff here from the trimming, it'll scrape it off and give you a nice, fresh, clean surface to work with. And that brass is ready for a primer, powder, and a bullet. Well, I'll carry on here and I'll get these ones all done up. So we got our brass that's being retrimmed. You can see here on the edges it's got a little bit of a ridge to it. And then inside the primer pocket, if there's any material or crap left in there, just that's where this tool comes in. Cleans it out if there's anything, and then your flash hole inside, that's where this tool comes in. There could be old powder in there, or if you were running it through a tumbler, some of your tumbling media could be stuck in the flash hole, so it's always good to clean that out. And then yeah, then you got your deburring tool here. Inside and then the outside. She is ready for its next steps. Now as you're doing this, you're deburring, you're able to have a good look at your brass. It's in your hands. You might find stuff that's got flaws in it and you might not want to use it. Here's one right here. It's got a big crack in it. It's just old brass. It's been shot probably numerous times, and that's what happens. They get cracks. So this brass is garbage at this point, but you know, it's always good tip, you know, when you're doing it, it's in your hand, you're inspecting it, and you never know, you might come across some flaws or different cracks, and you don't want to be reusing that stuff. So show you guys this crack. Well, we got our brass all cleaned up, resized. It's time to put some primers in. Yeah, I just used this other press over here. Primer goes in. She's ready. Pretty simple. The primer goes in there. Your brass in there all the way up. Drop this in. Pull down. Back up. On to the next one. Well, our brass is all primed and ready. We're gonna have to change out our die now and put our seating die in. So this guy here, we might have to do some adjustments with it. So we should probably start off. I know that our overall length is 3.60. So we're going to take one round. We'll actually use a brass that's not primed. So here's one that's not primed. This is going to be our dummy round. They might be pretty close to these AccuBonds with the tip on them. 3.69. 3.65. 3.63. What was the AccuBond? 3.5. 3.5950. So that would be 3.6. This is over 3.6. So I can take and unloosen this nut. Take this flathead and I can screw it in just a little bit. 3.6170. So we're at 3.6 there, so I'll unloosen this. Put this guy in, and I'll tighten this guy up. Just till I feel some tension, right about there. .597. We're at there 3.6. So that'll be our dummy round. So I just write on it, there's my dummy round, 178 grain AMAX. Well, I just looked over the load data for this H1000, and 84.9 grains is your minimum charge, and that gives you 2,900 foot per second. And then your max load is 95.1 grains. for 3,200 foot per second. So in developing a load for this gun, I don't know where in there my gun likes. Does it like 95.1? Does it like it maxed right out? Or so the easiest way to do it is I usually go with, I take 4 rounds and I'm going to load that. I'm going to start this at 90 grains of powder. And I'm going to do 91. 92, 93, 94. So I'll do four loads with 90 grains of powder. I'll do 4 more with 91 grains. And then when I go and shoot the gun, you'll actually see, you'll find the sweet spot that your gun likes. I had a target that I did this on a while ago, and I don't know, the target's gone, but you know, your first shot, your first load. So on this target, it went, you know, first shot, you know, I got it, let's say I got a 4-inch group. And then the next batch of 4, I'd try it, you know, and the group got a little tighter. Now I'm down to like a 2-inch group. The next load that I did, boom, they were all, you know, right in there to pretty much clover leafing, you know, so they're within ½ an inch. And then the next round I did, then you could see that we're back out to just about 2 inches. And then the next round, we're back out to 3. If that makes any sense to you. So as you're shooting, you know, your grouping is like this with say 90 grains, and then it's going to come in tighter, 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 and then it's going to start opening back up again. So that's where, you know, these 4-shot groups is going to kind of tune me into what the gun likes. So we're going to go with that. We'll start off with 90 grains, and we'll do 5 batches. 90, 91, 92, 93, 94. We're not going to go max load or nothing. We're just going to stay under a bit. It's kind of a bit of a waste of ammo and powder, but when you're reloading, you may as well load it the best you can to get the most bang for your buck, you know, or, you know, you may as well just shoot factory ammo and get it whatever you get for a group out of it. Lots of guns don't like this factory ammo or this one, but they like this one brand, and, you know, it's the same thing as that. You got to find your sweet spot. So that's what we're looking for here. Okay, let's get started here. We'll set the scale up, and I'll take you guys right through the scale setup here. Well, here's our hand scale. So to adjust this guy, you put everything on 0. And then you have a little wheel down here, you can spin it up or down. You want your lines lined right up. So we're zeroed here, we're zeroed here, and we're zeroed here. So now we can go and do another quick test with it. So this here is a 20 20 gram weight. And on the scale it should be 300 and 308. 308.6. So we'll put this up to 300. Now we'll go to 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're at 308.5. So we're pretty darn close there. 0.6. So if we went up one more, she should zero herself right out there. Pretty darn close. So I'm happy with that adjustment there. So now we'll pull this weight out. We're going to drop this scale all the way back to 90. Zeroed. Zeroed. Now we just got to put powder in here and we'll watch it and slowly add. And unfortunately, the digital scale is not working. Or is it? 308.8. Okay. I will have a look at this. I'll turn you back on here in a second. Maybe it's working now. Okay. I played around with the digital scale and it's only half working. So all the buttons on this side are working, but all these buttons on this side are not working. So I have no idea what it is. This is just a little powder trickler. There, it's trickling. So we're set at 90 grains right now for our first 4 rounds. I wish I had a better scoop. So we got a little too much in there now. So I'd always use a digital scale and it would dispense out how many grains of powder I needed, and then I would always run it on this scale to check it afterwards. So we're just about there. I'm watching this go up. I'm turning the trickler. It's just dropping a little crumb here and there. So there's our first load with 90 grains. We'll double check, make sure everything's good still. My funnel. First one done, 90 grains. One, two, I thought it was about 2.5, that last one. Just a little. Come in with the finishing touches here. Perfect. Okay, we got our first 4 done that are at 90 grains, so we're gonna seat the bullet into them. At this point, we could double check. Make sure we're at our 3.6. Okay, we're at 3.6. Well, we got our first 4 done at 90 grains. I'm going to mark them. There's the start. There's our first 4. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'll do my 91, 92, 93, 94. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and complete the rest of these. Turn you back on in a bit. Well, there we go. 90 grains, 91, 92, 93, 94. And I loaded up 4 extras at 90 grains because I still have to sight the rifle in a little bit tomorrow because I'm going to change the scope on it before I do any of this. So I got 4 rounds here. At least I can get it on the paper and go from there. But yeah, once I find which load here my gun likes, and then I can play with it from there after too, right? I can play with the seating depth and stuff on the bullet. It could be a little longer, it could be a little shorter. The gun might like it to, instead of the bullet already crammed into the lands of the barrel, you might want to, you know, seat your bullet in a little more so your bullet jumps into the lands. There's lots of little things you can play with. But these are just hunting loads. I'm not trying to competition shoot with them or nothing, but kind of a way you got to do it here to create a new load for your gun and see what your gun likes. So I'm going to end this video here for tonight. It's probably already like, I don't know, midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. So we will see you guys tomorrow morning. We'll go out back and go make some noise. See you then. No, get. So we're about 6 inches high, or 7 inches high, and about 3 inches to the right. Okay, we should be pretty good there now. Them ones there with the 90 grains in it, they're not too bad. You can feel the recoil for sure on them. So we'll go and put a new target up, and we'll move this target out to 100 yards now. Here's the target here. First one was up here, second, third, fourth. When I adjusted to come over this way, I must have adjusted the wrong direction there, but she's right there now. Weird how it's just ripping the paper. Thought it would have put nice little holes in it. What's the backside look like? Oh yeah. Well, we'll move the target out there to 100. Here's the new target set up. I don't know if you can see out back there. I got some other targets. That steel gong back there, the orange one, it's a sheep. It's out there at 300, and then the blue swinging target's at 200. They're right back there shooting from. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let the next 4 rip, and won't bore you guys with it. I'll just show you the end results. But in between each 4, I'm probably going to let the gun sit, you know, at least, I don't know what it's going to take, 10, 15, 20 minutes until the barrel's cool each time. So I want to start my each 4 off with the cool barrel. And yeah, the barrel's still warm, so I'm going to let it cool for a while. Well, I'll show you guys the end results here in a bit. Well, here's our first 3 groups. That was with 90 grains. That was 91. And that was 92. So I'm going to change the target out. Because I imagine if I aim at that one, I'll probably won't even hit the paper. So yeah, the 91 grains is looking pretty good. 92 is pretty good too. We'll see what 93 and 94 bring. Well, fired the last 4 here. So this will be 93 grains, and then this was 94. '93 was still pretty good. 94 was kind of all over the place. And you could tell 94 grains, and it was packing quite the punch. So we'll have a better look at these targets, and we'll make a decision. Well, the results are in. So 90 grain over a 2-inch group. This 91 were about a 1-inch group. 92 were probably about an 1.5-inch group. 93 you're probably close to that 1.5-inch group, and then 94 were out here at 2.5-inch group. So I got my 91, my 92. You know, I could do another load and I could go up, say 91.5 grains. It might be a little better. But right in there, she's somewhere in there for a hunting round right now. I'm happy with that. So I'll have to yeah, I might think on this a bit, and then maybe try 91.5 grains, and it might be right in there, less than an inch. But there's always a bit of shooter error in there too. So I used to go with 5 shots before. You know, you'd always have one that was maybe a bit of a flyer, but you know, then you had 4 that you could actually judge by good. But yeah, I'm going to call this a success for now, and I might later try, you know, 91.5 grains and see what it does. You know, 92 is good too, but 93 was starting to open up again, and 94 is all over the place there. But the recoil on the 91 was nice. 92 was okay too. The recoil with 93, you could start feeling it, and recoil with 94 grains, it was pounding the shit out of my shoulder pretty good. So, and I just know with that gun that I have, you know, the more you're getting to your max load, you're losing your accuracy and everything with it too. So yeah, I kind of guessed it would be that 92 mark. Well, that's it for now, guys. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and I'll be doing lots more whatever. See you on the next one.